And while we watch President Biden sign a condolence book at the British Embassy here in Washington, the First Lady standing by his side, I want to bring in CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. Tell us more about how the White House is mourning the Queen's passing.
Well, Nicole, good to be with you here. Let's listen to the president. Oh, no, he's good. OK, so what you saw there, he had removed a piece of paper from his lapel and appeared to be writing down whatever was on that into this condolence book at the British Embassy, which is right next door to where the vice president lives here in Washington. Let's listen to him now.
Lady, we're so delighted we got to meet her. And we were joking. She actually provided. Can I walk over there?
Yes, I'll take you over. Thank you. We have British and American.
Forgive the shaky quality of the video and the audio on this. The piece of technology that the White House pool is using is such that probably didn't get a good signal quite there in the embassy. They'll what we call refeed it later, and you'll get a clear look and sound of it. But essentially, this happened, of course, so quickly and stunned the world in that it happened as fast as it did, that much of Washington was caught off guard by this. We waited all afternoon to get a sense of what the president might exactly end up doing to commemorate this beyond the written statement he issued earlier today and lowering the flag here at the White House to have staff. A short while ago, they announced he would be stopping at the British Embassy, which, as I said, is next to the vice president's residency in upstate or upper northwest Washington. He's on his way now to a Democratic Party function over in Maryland. And earlier in the day, he had issued a written statement on behalf of himself and the First Lady in the United States, in essence, essentially saying that the Queen was more than a monarch. She defined an era. And in a world of constant change, she was a steadying presence and a source of comfort and pride for generations of Britons, including many who've never known their country without her. He recalled the fact that they met in 1982 when he was part of a Senate delegation to the United Kingdom. Recall that they met twice last summer when he was in the UK for meetings of the G7, and also called out in his statement that he looks forward to continuing a close friendship with the King and the Queen Consort, King Charles III, as he is expected to be called, and Queen Consort, Camilla, of course, his wife. No other word yet on how exactly the world and the United States will pay tribute. But there's an expectation that the president would lead a delegation to the funeral whenever it is held in London. Otherwise, though, as you saw today, pretty standard statement of condolence from him and recollections of the time they spent together. He was the 14th U.S. president Queen Elizabeth met with over the course of her 70 years on the throne.
I think 14 that she reigned during and 13 that she met. And to your point, Ed, you know, I think really the world is in shock and trying to process that. It looked like the president even was a little visibly struck as well. So tell us more about the relationship that he had with the Queen.
Well, no U.S. president really had a terribly close relationship necessarily with the Queen because he didn't necessarily meet her that often. The British leader they would have dealt with most, of course, is a prime minister, not necessarily the Queen. But I was struck last year when he was in Cornwall and met with her that he said, and he meant no offense, that the Queen reminded him of his own mother, both in look and in the way she composed herself. President Obama had said something very similar years before when they were at the commemorations for D-Day in Normandy, that the Queen reminded him of his grandmother. And all the presidents, at least in modern times, who had met with her recalled that they appreciated her straightforward manner, the fact that she kind of gave it to them straight, had a good sense of her presence in the world and the importance of her leadership. Met with Biden, hosted state dinners for Presidents Obama and Trump, was hosted here for the last time in 2007 by George W. Bush, who held a state dinner in her honor. She visited the White House 4 times. The first time in 1957, when Dwight Eisenhower took her to a college football game in Maryland as part of her first trip to the United States as Queen. She was here to mark the bicentennial in 1976 and danced with Gerald Ford at a state dinner that was held in her honor, and was known to ride horses with Ronald Reagan when they were in the UK. They both shared a love of that. So she understood the value of the special relationship. The presidents, just like many other world leaders, relished the opportunity to be seen with her. And all of them today who are still living have issued statements of condolence and remembrance.